my PR team will reach out to your PR team. Don't worry.
Sounds good.
Don't worry. We'll be talking offline. But that's some really, really cool stuff that you have working, that you also have going in the background. And definitely want to reconnect with you. Hopefully, we're going to have the TruePrep SAT information up on Late Night Parents. We only had 50,000 unique visitors per month. A little short, a little shy of 2 million per month.
Man, that's still bigger than Fenway Park. You got to look at it that way.
But the one thing I want to do is give you a round of applause and thank you so much. Andrew, what's the best way to get in contact with you via social media?
Yeah, the best way to get in contact with me is honestly just email me, andrew@trueprep.co. Or you can follow me on Twitter @Finitis, but honestly I don't tweet that much because Mark Cuban scared me into deleting all my tweets. So email is the best way to reach me.
Got you. We will be in touch. Andrew, thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks, Ted. You have a great night.
You too. And that was Andrew Finn, co-founder and managing director of TruePrep, and we were talking about studying for SATs. We were talking about, what do some of our high school students have to do? What do we as parents have to do? What do we have to get prepared for? Because, I took the SAT back in 1988. I'm not afraid to say it. There you go. You got my age. But along with that, we have a special guest coming on. We're going to take a quick break. Next voice you hear, Tiffany Copon, our next serial entrepreneur, right after this break. And we're back. Late Night Parent Radio. This is Ted Hicks. So we have our next guest lined up. I think we're running a couple of minutes late, but it's okay because you know what? It's a 2-hour show tonight, folks. We're all good. Miss Tiffany Copon. Tiffany, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for joining us. And just like the person before us, Andrew Finn, I had you categorized as a serial entrepreneur because that's what you folks are. You just don't start one business, you start 10 businesses at the same time. So I'm really proud, and it's really a great feeling that I have to say I have you on our show, our little show. So it seems like day by day, this little show continues to grow with all of these huge guests that we have on. But it's great to have you on. It's wonderful that we met on Twitter, and it just shows you the power of networking. So want to welcome you. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well. Excited to be here, excited to talk about my brand and my invention and how I got there and the stumbles and steps that I've made, It's exciting. I'm glad to be here.
So I want to get this right. Bebe Pod Pants?
You still there?
Yeah. I said, wait, hold on. I said Bebe Pod Pants?
Bebe Pod Pants.
Bebe.
Yes.
Bebe Pod Pants. Okay, I got it. So there's so much for you to cover because there's the companies, there's the startups, there's your story. What works best for me is I usually turn my mic off and the guests take over because it's not just my show, it's everyone's show. and we showcase folks like yourself. So I want to say, give us some background on yourself. Give us some background on your companies, but we'll focus on your clothing line first.
Okay. Well, a little about me. I'm a mom of 5, cancer survivor, lupus warrior, entrepreneur, fighter, dreamer, and creator of Bebe Pod Pants. Bebe Pod Pants is an infant clothing garment that offers busy parents a unique and functional alternative to pants, socks, and shoes. It's worn over the legs up to the waist on newborn babies up to 6 to 8 months old, and used when traveling in an infant car seat or stroller. I pretty much came up with this idea as a mom. I had a baby, and then I had my other kids who are older, and I just needed a really quick way to get out the door. Kids usually, babies anyway, usually wear a little onesie, and a little one piece, and usually their feet are always left out. And I don't know, you have kids. I'm not sure if you remember this, but you know how they have the 2 little socks to get out the pack? Those socks are only together when you pull them out that pack. After that, it's over. You got mixed match socks and everything.
I've got to stop you. I got to stop you right there, because you just jarred my memory of so many times with I'm sitting here with my wife, and we're looking for the socks, and we're trying to match things up, and I'm like, okay, this is not working.
I'm convinced that dryer lint is the cremated remains of socks. I mean, I just it must be.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
My goodness.
So that was the thing there. I just needed a new way to dress my baby. So what I did, one night I was completely frustrated, and I sew, it's something I do, as a hobby, and I just created this little bag, and with the elastic. And when I say it came from meager, beginnings, I used my husband's T-shirt, old T-shirt, and the elastic from my pajama pants. And that's what I did, and I was like, this thing is kind of cool. And I was going out, and it was pretty easy. And parents were looking at it, and they were like, where did you get that? Where did you get it? And I just told them I made it. And, it evolved from there, and then I ended up putting a patent on the hole coming through it. And I actually wrote my own patent. I didn't even use a patent attorney. I just went for it.
Really?
Yeah. Just went for it. Yeah, and now, 2.5 years later, we're in the market.
Wow. Where can I find this product? Where can I find this product at?
I am on my website. Right now, I'm currently only selling just exclusively on my website, which is www.bebepodpants.com. And I'll spell it out. It's BEBEPODPANTS.com.
I got to jump in here and say, don't worry, because available on Late Night Parents will be a blog talking about not only this conversation, but also with the website and everything else like that. So you will be, I will be tweeting you about your company. That's the best thing about it.
Okay. I'll jump in another part. During my launch of this product, I had been getting sick and everything, and when I say a long time, maybe about 2.5 years, just didn't know what was going on with me. And during this launch, the end of this launch back this past October, I was diagnosed with lupus, and that was rough. It was rough. I mean, it was rough, but it made sense, and it was kind of almost, comforting, because I knew my attacker. You know what I mean? I knew who I was fighting. So that then launched me to another type of business, to fight lupus with everything that I had, and to, bring awareness, because it's kind of interesting. Over 1.5 million people suffer from lupus, but nobody seems to know anything about it. So I created this. I created this other mission endeavor called Sassy Girl Kitchenware for a Cure. And basically that's where, I have myself and some other friends of mine who also have lupus who sew, and we make embroidered kitchen towels to bring awareness. And 20% of our proceeds go to Molly's Fund, Fighting Lupus.
Wow. I usually wait until the end, but I've got to give you... I usually wait for that, but I can't because that is so awesome. That really is awesome. Not just, the clothing line is one other thing, but the awareness about lupus, because, yes, it exists. It exists, but it seems like when you look at, the four major sports organizations, professional sports organizations, they talk about breast cancer. They now talk about domestic violence. And that's about it. It's like any other disease or anything else that anyone is suffering from doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it's kind of crazy. And I can speak from both sides of it. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. I dealt with that in 2007, and no one said the things that they say to me now. With cancer, it's like, oh, I have cancer. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? When I say, I have lupus, they're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's an autoimmune disease. I'm like, oh, you gave it to yourself? And I'm like, no. Just because you heard the word auto, you think I gave it to myself? Nobody answers. And sadly, right now, luckily I'm sitting at my desk and I have my heating pad and everything on me. Sadly, I am flaring right now. And
wow.
I'll give you a little bit of it. With lupus, it is an inflammatory disease, okay, that pretty much causes your immune system to go haywire. And it begins to attack yourself. It attacks itself. So, and it can go for your muscles. It can go for your heart. It can go, for, your skin, and it can kill you. Lupus kills, and we really need to bring awareness to this crazy disease.
You definitely do. Hey, I do need you to do me a favor. Number one, we're going to end hour number one right now, but I want you to hang on.
Okay.
And we're going to start up hour number two.
Okay.
So hang tight.
Okay.
Okay, so for the folks that are listening to the 60-minute podcast on one of our radio partners, we want to say thank you this evening for Miss Janet Allison, Andrew Finn, and we're going to listen to, in a couple of minutes, our second part of our interview with the lovely Tiffany Copon. So we want to say thank you, we love you, and we will catch you next week.